We are the bioremediation team. Today we will be talking to you about principles of bioremediation, engineering wastewater solutions in remote locations. I'm Sophia Glazer.
I'm Alexis Saunders.
I'm Nick Healy.
I'm Ezra Smith.
I'm Haley Hawkins.
And I'm Arlo Riley.
The Bahamas is classified by the United Nations as one of many SIDS, small island developing states. There are many unique challenges that come with living on a SIDS. One being that we are reliant on mass importations of fossil fuels for energy production and automotive fuels. The Island School has been proactive in addressing this challenge by creating a waste vegetable oil to biodiesel facility starting in 2002. Currently, we receive waste vegetable oil from our community to turn into biodiesel. Biodiesel burns much cleaner than fossil fuels, and also we're utilizing a valuable waste product. The Island School has the capability of running all our systems on campus with this biodiesel facility. Our vans, our farm equipment, everything. However, currently we are not producing enough biodiesel. This is why we revamped our system and now to create more biodiesel. One challenge in this is that there is a liquid byproduct, a liquid waste product that we call liquid effluent. By taking a whole systems approach to biodiesel, we knew we had to do something about this liquid waste. This is where bioremediation comes in. Bioremediation is the use of organisms to solve an environmental problem. Our goal is to use a low-tech system using only plants to filter out the toxins in the wastewater. Yes, and we would also like to share with you what we've been doing for the past 81 days so parents can get a look into the lives of the bioremediation team. We first started by transferring our waste vegetable oil into our biodiesel processor. Then we went to Leon Levy, a local plant reserve, to find different native plants that would be good bioremediation factors. And finally, we spent a lot of time brainstorming and engineering our wastewater bioremediation facility. And currently, here we are presenting to you all.
As Sophia alluded to in her timeline, the history of alternative fuels on campus is much longer than most of you would think. In 2002, the Island School began constructing a biodiesel production facility. The reason why we wanted to use this alternative fuel is because we wanted to become a zero-waste campus, and there was an available resource nearby. Biodiesel is created on campus using waste vegetable oil that was donated to us. If we didn't use this waste vegetable oil, it would probably be put into a landfill and burned. The oil that we obtain is of varying qualities. In regards to biodiesel production, higher quality oil is preferred because it's only been used once or twice and produces a much higher yield.
In the past, we've been successful using this higher quality vegetable oil through the process of transesterification. Transesterification uses a basic catalyst, lye in our case, to break apart the triglycerides that make up the waste vegetable oil into the base components of the fatty acid tails and the glycerol backbones. We then add methanol, which binds to the fatty acid tails and produces the fatty methyl esters, which are biodiesel. Transesterification works well when used with higher quality oil, like Alexis mentioned, but it doesn't work well when used with lower quality oil. So in order to expand the variety of oil we can use and therefore increase the amount of biodiesel we can produce, this semester we've added some upgrades to the facility, and we've added an entirely new process called acid esterification. Acid esterification uses an acid catalyst like sulfuric acid to pre-treat lower quality oil that we can source from local restaurants around Eleuthera and makes it into higher quality oil that can then be put through transesterification, while at the same time producing a small amount of biodiesel. With this addition of this new process comes a new waste product, the liquid effluent that Sophia mentioned, and this is what our research this semester has been focused around.
This liquid effluent contains various quantities of water, leftover vegetable oil, biodiesel, methanol, sulfuric acid, glycerol, and soaps. We designed a bioremediation system intended to remove the contaminants from this liquid effluent to produce clean, usable water. Our initial prototype design consisted of three systems of 4 cells per system. The first cell is a filter cell containing filter materials such as biochar or seaweed. The next 2 cells are primary bioremediation cells containing plants such as duckweed, sedgegrass, algae, or biomedia, which is a substrate for bacteria. The fourth and final cell is a collection cell, which contains a pump that recirculates the water back into the filter cell. We wanted our system to include local, readily available plants. We wanted it to be low-tech and gravity-fed, so that it could be sustainable at the Island School campus and act as a model accessible to the larger community of the Bahamas. For our prototype model, we used the green jugs that we receive our used vegetable oil in, which we cut down to create rectangular buckets. We also used PVC piping that we reclaimed from the boneyard on campus, repurposed window screens, salvaged pallets, PVC fittings and T-valves, pumps, wires, alligator clips, and a car battery. We spent a lot of time measuring the exact heights of the intake and output valves for each cell to ensure optimum flow rate and to make sure that each cell had the proper amount of water for the organism that was in it. Once these measurements were complete, we drilled the holes for the PVC pipes, attached the PVC pipes to the jugs, assembled the systems at our farm location, added water, and then propagated the plants.
So as Ezra mentioned, after some design engineering, we arrived at our current prototype pictured on the screen next to me. All 3 of our treatment systems are gravity-fed, meaning that the waste liquid effluent flows from the first cell until it reaches the final collection and then is pumped back up to the first cell again. While this low-tech design clearly poses some problems, it's in line with the Island School's value of potentially being a model of sustainability for other communities in the Bahamas. So our initial focus is on material choice, which means we overlook the fact that even the smallest grain of sediment could clog our entire system. We have 3 separate treatment systems, each with varying plants and materials. It's a never-ending goal of our research to determine the flow rate, benefit, and effect of all of the plants and materials in our system. Additionally, we are continuously working to make sure our system can run as efficiently as possible. So after fixing some design flaws, most notably the clogging in our system, we are ready to run our experimental trials. Our first experimental trial was in fact run with clean water, so we could begin to understand the inner workings of our system. Once we felt confident about our treatment systems, we then introduced the waste liquid effluent. This then began our second experimental trial.
We did a 1-to-1 ratio of water to effluent, and after 48 hours of the liquid effluent going through our system, these are our findings. So as we hypothesized, the treatment number 1 exceeded the rest, the 2 other treatments, in pretty much every test we did. As you can see on the top left graph, we have pH levels. Treatment number 1 had the lowest pH levels, making it closest to groundwater standards. Right below that, on the bottom left graph, we have total dissolved solids, and treatment number 1, again, had the lowest total dissolved solids. This exceeded our expectations, especially for this one. The graph to the right is flow rate. Although treatment number 1 did not have the fastest flow rate, it had the most steady flow rate, and that's actually what we're looking for, so that was great. We had many iterations to our treatments and to our system, and after 48 hours of the effluent running through, we discovered there was a 100% mortality rate. So though that's not exactly what we were hoping for, it's still a result, and we can still work from that. It means that our 1-to-1 ratio wasn't correct. We should probably use more water. Yeah, here at the Island School, we focus on global issues by first looking at our local issues, such as our evolving waste stream. We devote a lot of time to looking for better uses for our waste, whether it be solid waste or liquid waste. By taking a whole system approach and looking at all the interrelated parts of our system, we're looking to divert past, present, and future waste streams. For example, we can't just look at the benefits of our biodiesel production, we must also look at the potential effects it could be having on our natural and built environment. By aspiring to fuel our Island School lives on what used to be fry oil, we are making a statement to the broader community that many small steps equal a big leap. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is progress. This is our works cited. We'd like to give a huge thank you to our research advisors, Brian Carroll and Sarah Emmerich. Another big thank you to Scott Roberts and Mike Cortina and the whole CSD team. A great thank you to Team of Communications, the Gap Year students, Aquaponics and Alternative Fuels. A huge thank you to Kate Kincaid and Chris and Pam Maxey. And another big thank you to you guys, our parents. We wouldn't be here without you. We're Bioremediation. Are there any questions? The question was, is used fry oil the only source of biodiesel, or are there others?
There are other sources that we can use. We can use animal fats as well, and we can also use human fat as well. So it's not the only source.
Yeah.
I had another question, but now I sort of ask. So I'm wondering about what the incentive is for the local community to bring their used vegetable oil to you, and how you see the benefits accruing to the community around the island.
The question was, what is the incentive of like the local community bringing their like waste vegetable oil to us, and yeah, how does that really work, and how can we use that?
So for the local community, it is really hard to dispose of this because of the waste vegetable oil, because it has a lot of fats. So instead of putting it into a dump, it's actually easier for them to give it to us. And then for us, for the community to be able to run all of our vans on biodiesel, as we talked about at the Allen School, sustainability is such a big thing. So it's a big step for us to be able to run, all of our vans, as Sophia said, on what used to be something that people didn't know what to use or how to use.
What about the community outside the island?
In terms of,
Like, is there any plan for them to have access to any of the biofuel or the process that you're going through to create this, so that they could have something like that outside this?
yeah, I mean, our hope is to be a model for other communities, and I'm actually not sure if other communities currently use the biodiesel that the Allen School produces, but we can talk to our research advisors and get back to you on that.
How do you know how long the oil has been used prior to your receiving it?
The question was, how long? How do we know how long the oil was used prior to our receiving the oil?
So one of the first days of research, we did something. We did a chemical process. I forgot the name of it. But we use a pH indicator to test how much free fatty acids are in the biodiesel or the vegetable oil that we receive, and that is a measurement of how many times it's been used. Because every single time the oil is heated up, the heat breaks apart one of the fatty acid tails from the glycerol backbone. So, for example, if we have a batch of vegetable oil that has like 10% free fatty acids, that means it's been used multiple times, and it's lower quality.
Despite the fact that you had the failure of the system, were you given any indications that with different amounts of water that it could succeed?
Yeah. So.
And if so, what would be your next steps?
Even though all the plants did eventually die, as you can see on those graphs, we still had like the water was being treated, so we were on our way there. And yeah, so the next step would just be adding more water, having a more than a 1-to-1 ratio of water to effluent.
Do these projects get passed, like, so that those learnings get passed maybe the next fall's group, and then they might take advantage of your research and modify what they do, so they're sort of ahead of the game when they start, if they're going to have a similar research project?
Yeah, the question was, do our findings and our research, do they apply, or do other semesters pick them up and start using them?
So our goal is to have a large biodiesel waste effluent facility on campus. And in the future, we're hoping that more different research groups will work on that process. the water won't be wasted because the water will be, so the plants will help take out the harmful toxins in the liquid effluent, and then this water can then be put back into the environment in a safe way. So the water will not be wasted.
The question was, what kind of modifications were made to the vehicles to let them use biodiesel?
So any diesel vehicle can run biodiesel. There's nothing that has to be changed with the engine. Biodiesel is chemically the exact same as diesel for the engine's purpose. It's pretty awesome. That's why it's so great.
I'm just curious, how much water, how much liquid effluent is, you know, those little jars in your, you have an example, what would be the ratio, how much water, you know, what percentage of oil, what percentage of water is produced or left as a residue from that process? Are you talking about a lot of water or just?
So the question was, how much water do we actually get out of the effluent? Yeah, what's the ratio of water from the effluent that we can actually take out?
Well, how much water is produced?
How much water is produced from the effluent? Yeah.
We don't know like the exact amount after we clean it, but it should be a large amount because we basically are just cleaning out some like small kind of impurities in the water, like dissolved solids, as you mentioned. But it should be most of the water, pretty close.